How to become more present to the moment when dating. Hi, I'm a dating coach based in Chicago. I've worked for the biggest dating companies like RSD in like 2008. Right now, I'm one of the top performers in like Coach Kyle's school group and things of that nature. I've been doing this for 6 plus years. Anyway, let's get right into it. One of the biggest problems I see that guys face is the anxiousness, the anxiety behind it, like what to do, what to say. And all of these things come from lack of presence and the importance of this because that allows you to be able to improvise and be on your toes and move the interaction forward towards the outcome that you want, that being a loving experience or a sexual experience, whatever it is that you personally want to do. So without further ado, I want to cover two types of topics. Pretty much detaching your ego along with other spiritual texts, that the recurring theme is to bring peace into your life, to allow to let go of certain things and be able to enjoy your life way more with less anxiousness and less control. So I want to start off with one of the biggest books that helped me out in on my journey, and that was one of the books by Eckhart Tolle, which was a The Power of Now. And the concept of that book was amazing when I first implemented it, because in this Western society we live with a timeline, right? Like the future, the past, and the concept of the book is essentially there is no future because the future happens this very moment, in the present moment. It only happens in the present moment, and the past also happened in this very moment. So the concept of time in terms of like the future and the past does not exist. So at a constant state, you are carrying desires, traumas, and resentments, and all of these things. So what that allows you to do is allow yourself the permission to be able to, stop projecting into the future and have like this hesitation or this lag in your communication. And the next thing that I want to talk about, so Eckhart Tolle goes into like different spiritual philosophies and that sorts, but I've also done research on my end in terms of like, let's say the Christianic text. So in that case, like a lot of overcoming a lot of like hate internally or jealousy or these types of feelings that mess up your mood when you're in an interaction. And through those teachings, you're able to use empathy to overcome and like feel sorry for the other people that they have that experience or that quality of life or that living without the beauty of letting go in peace and enjoying and fulfillment. And so that's what that teaches. And on the other hand, like for example, text in like Buddhism philosophy and things of that nature, detaching your ego. Essentially, your ego is like all the labels and identifications that you have put on yourself. And if you're not, oftentimes when you're going about your day and you're not congruent to what the idea that you've made up about yourself is, then it triggers your ego and you become emotionally reactive to whatever situation that you are engaging in. So, in this particular case, this detachment of, so for example, probably many of you are most likely very introspective or at least self-aware or becoming the observer or the third eye, whatever people want to call it, or God consciousness or Christ consciousness, whatever faith you follow, man. The What I'm saying here is that what the concept is, what connects us all is that we have that observer inside our being, and that is completely detached from any identity that you have, and that's what makes everybody exactly the same thing. The only difference is the experiences that you've had, and overall the just the identities that you've put on yourself, and what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, what emotionally engages you, and things like that. So your identity essentially is your ego. So anytime that your beliefs are challenged, and the beauty of this is that you can change your belief system in order for you to adapt a new ego, in order for it to be easier to do certain tasks like becoming successful or like going to the gym or whatever the case may be, for, or in this context being attractive, in this case being charming, in this case being extroverted, in this case being more social. And So what I'm referring to and why I bring this up is because when you detach from your ego, and people say things like, I don't know, like joke around and say, tease you on XYZ. It can be literally anything. Let's say weight, for example. If they're like, you're fat, right? If you take it too personally because it's tied to your ego, because you have like, are taking life so seriously that you become infuriated with the other person, instead of realizing they want to hurt you, and maybe they feel hurt, so they want to project that onto you and make you feel the same way that they're feeling. As an example, I'll give you like a super example, man. I remember when I was dating this one woman, and she had a particularly long nose. She was a very attractive Russian lady, woman. And, I didn't want to continue the dynamic further. And I said, you know what, it's a lot for me to pick you up and do all these things. And she essentially felt hurt. So essentially, she started attacking my physical appearance. So she was hurt, and the way people are hurt, think that that's the way that you can hurt other people. So, for example, if someone were to shame her appearance, she would probably be destroyed, because that's the tactic that she was using in order to make me feel bad in that personal example. So that's the beauty of being able to detach your ego and these things. However, the main concept that I want to bring to you is bringing that purity and that presence in a moment to moment situation. So a lot of guys, when I'm coaching, they want to know what to say, what to do, XYZ. And it's very important to set your intentions instead of making a plan, because when you set your intentions, you already know what to do. Instead of like, if things don't go according to plan, you start getting anxious and start like trying to control everything, and you ruin the vibe, essentially the present moment. And in that same breath, the if you don't allow trust, let's say you're being hesitant in approaching a woman that you really like, and you don't know what to say or do, and allowing that trust in order to actually commit to it, what it is that you're actually doing. Like, just trust that you will figure it out as you're going through the whole process, and that itself is going to help you out with all that like anxiousness, in terms of like, in what way am I approaching, in what do I say, what to do, allowing trust that in yourself, that in the moment to moment, you're gonna be witty, you're gonna enjoy the experience that you're essentially creating and cultivating. And that's pretty much it. So that's the topic of this particular video. Let me know if you enjoyed the content, leave a like. And if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll get to them like ASAP. Also, if you want to see live interactions of me interacting with society and using these concepts, on my Instagram, I am there by Premium Expression. If you want to check that out, I'll leave it in the description. And that's it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.